guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Peace Jones. Don't forget to like this video, to comment on this video, and to subscribe to this channel. If you are new, thank you so much for joining me. I cover 3 main topics. Number 1 would be travel, solo travel in particular. Number 2 would be dating, all things dating for men and women. And number 3 would be healing from any types of traumas, growing, becoming the best you, self-motivation, all those types of things, you guys. So if you're interested in any of that and you're here, go ahead and stick around and subscribe, okay? So I have a story time for you guys today. I don't typically do story times. However, I do have one that's had a bunch of views, I think 1.3K, and that is my 24th birthday trip to Jamaica gone wrong. So you guys go check that out if you're interested. Other than that, I have a few other story times, okay? So today, this story time is going to be called She Was a Hater. How many of us have dealt with haters in our lifetime? I think all of us, unfortunately. But the worst thing about this scenario was that she was an old lady hater. The worst kind. How are you miserable in your old age, ma'am? How are you hating on somebody half your age, ma'am? That's not a good look, okay? So you guys, let's get into it. Backtrack to the year, maybe 2016. Don't think it was 2017, but it could have been, okay? So 2016, 2017, all right? So I had a really good guy friend that I went all 4 years of undergrad in college with, and he actually ended up graduating either a year or 2 years after I did because he was a computer science major. And you know, they take a little bit longer sometimes to finish up just because of their curriculum, okay? So he graduated in 2016, 2017. And I went down to go see him off. Of course, I went to his graduation, and the night before we partied at this little like bar in the town where the college was, right? So that night he introduced myself and the other 2 guy friends. So it was 3 of us that went down. It was my guy friend that was graduating. It was, it was 3 of us that went down. It was myself, we're gonna name the other friend Toby, and the other friend Keith, okay? So me, Toby, and Keith came down to visit my friend that was graduating, Michael. And then once we got there, Michael introduced us to his friend at school that was also graduating named Zach, okay? So it was me, Zach, Michael, Toby, and Keith. We were all at this bar, turned out, blah, blah, blah. So the next day we went to the graduation. Boom, we headed home. When we finished the graduation and we headed home, my friend Michael, who graduated, and his friend Zach, they were like, hey, you know, Zach's aunt is having a graduation party for him. You know, y'all should come through. He invited all of us over. He's like, there's going to be plenty of food. It's at my aunt's house, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, bet, like weekend move, cookout, free food. Who doesn't want to go? So of course I was the only girl, you guys. Maybe I'll do more story times about this in the future, but basically I've always had like a lot of guy friends. So a lot of times I'm the only girl in the group. And so in this friend group, it wasn't anything abnormal for me to be the only girl. So cool. Me and all my guy friends head out on this Saturday. We go to Zach's auntie's house, right? So we pull up. I'm a very polite, respectful young lady, okay? So if you invite me to your house, your cousin's house, your aunt's house, I'm going to introduce myself and I'm going to thank the person for inviting me. I'm going to compliment their home, compliment their food, all of that. Like, I'm not the type that you invite me somewhere and I just sit there and look crazy and I'm disrespectful and I don't speak. That's not me, right? So I step into the house all ready to put on my show. Hey, auntie, yes, I love this house. She had a beautiful house, nice, big, beautiful house. She had a whole spread out for us, this type of potato salad, this type of pasta salad, these types of wraps, you know, all this stuff, right? We were about to eat good. So we step in the house and I introduce myself. I'm like, hi, you know, thank you so much for inviting us. Your home is beautiful. So she's like, yeah, you guys go ahead and get some sides. You know, the actual meat isn't finished being grilled, but go ahead and get some sides, like get a salad, whatever, whatever. So we go ahead and we just looking at this divine spread of food. We all start helping ourselves. You know, we all just mixing, mingling, getting our food together, right? So we all get our plate and she directs us out to the back deck. Now, mind you, at this time, I think it was literally just like maybe 3 family members, her, the graduate who was Zach, her nephew, and then myself, Toby, Michael, and Keith, right? So we're all just out back, you know, nibbling on our plate or whatever, right? And so she comes out and she's like, hey, you guys, can I take like a drink order for you guys? What would you like? I have alcoholic beverages. I have, you know, water, soda, juice, whatever. So, you know me, I like some little cocktail, okay? So all the guys are like, yeah, I'll take a beer, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, it's my turn. So I'm like, I'll take a vodka and cranberry or whatever I asked for. I know it wasn't vodka cranberry because I don't like vodka, but let's say it was like a rum and pineapple, right? So I'm all smiling, thinking I'm about to get this drink. By the way, let's name his Auntie Wendy, okay? No, let's name her Auntie Cheryl, okay? Auntie Cheryl. So I'm like, yes, Auntie Cheryl, I'll take a pineapple and rum. So Auntie Cheryl looks at me and she's like, can I see your ID? Now, mind y'all, Auntie Cheryl was like a good 50, 55. Nice seasoned auntie, okay? I was like a good 23. So Auntie Cheryl's like, can I see your ID? So I'm thinking like, oh, she's definitely joking. Like, you know those, you know at cookouts and family functions, those family members that look so serious, but they're literally joking with you. So you just gotta play along. Laugh it off. Auntie Cheryl is joking. So I'm like, Auntie Cheryl, give me my drink, girl. So mind you, the guys have bust open their beers. They just are cackling, just are sipping and eating. And Auntie Cheryl and I are over here trying to figure out this rum and pineapple. So Auntie Cheryl's like, yeah, like I need to see your ID. Whole mood change. So one of my friends is like, one of my guy friends is like, you serious? Like, we both trying to figure out, like, is she joking? Is she serious? So he's kind of giving that awkward laugh. I'm kind of giving that awkward stare, waiting for her to just be like, no, I'm kidding, babe. Like, what do you want to drink? So we're just like, okay. Well, never mind. So I just go ahead, super confused, sit back down, finish eating my food, right? Now, of course, I'm feeling some type of way because I'm like, y'all over here just getting lit off the beers, having a good old time. Here I am, the same age as you, but I can't have a drink. Okay. Mind you, she had the whole setup. I'm talking about the liquor cabinet, you know, the wine coolers, the mixers, the chasers. Like, she was ready to bartend, and I couldn't have nothing. Cool. So I'm just sitting there, you know, my friends like kind of in my head, like, don't even trip. It's something wrong with her, clearly. Like, she's tripping, you know, just play it cool. So I'm playing it cool, of course, not trying to disrespect anyone's house, not trying to disrespect anyone. But I am feeling uncomfortable because now I'm like, I'm in your house, I'm eating your food, like, you're being weird. I don't really know if I want to be here. But whatever, keep it chill. So she comes back out a few moments later and she's like, with this weird attitude, weird energy, she's like, okay, what would you like? What would you like to drink? So I'm like, I'll take a rum and pineapple. And so she looks at me again and she's like, no, but I'm going to need to see your ID. Go get your ID. She's like, go get your ID or I'm not serving you anything. At this point, I'm like, ma'am, number one, this is not an establishment. Like, stop. Like, you're literally refusing me alcohol as if you're gonna lose your liquor license up here in the Hard Rock Cafe. Like, no. Don't demand me to go get my ID when you literally just served 5 guys my age without an ID. So all the vibes was off. She was like really salty, really nasty, and basically claiming that she didn't believe that I was of age. But it's like, even if you didn't believe I was of age, why would you believe that all of my friends were? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Clearly, you're being shady towards me, and it's not a coincidence that I was the only female there. So cool. I'm just like, no, like, my ID's literally in the car. Like, and mind you, we parked like a ways away because it was a cookout next door. It was his cookout. And if you guys have ever been to like PG County, Maryland, especially like the Upper Marlboro area, you know that when there's like big events, everyone parks like all up and down the street. So our car was like a good little whiles away. Mind you, she had a big house. So just for me to like walk from the back deck all the way around to the front of her house, all the way down the street, take my friend's keys, go get the ID. Like, girl, this is not no club. Like, I'm not going to get my ID to have a drink at your house. Like, that's absolutely insane. So I was just like, oh no, like, I don't feel like going to get it. It's in the car. So she basically starts pressing me out, I guess trying to say that I was like lying about either my age still or having my ID, or like making me feel bad for not wanting to go to the car and get it. And I'm just like, oh no, like, I'd rather not. You feel me? At this time, everyone's sitting down eating. I done made a plate. I'm halfway through my plate. Like, you're not gonna convince me to get up and go get this ID. And then the way she was acting, I feel like even if I would have went to get it, she would have still been like no, or been weird, you know? I think at that point it was like a humiliation tactic. Like, let me see if this little girl will go walk all the way to the car and I'll make her look dumb. Like, it was just really giving like, you're a hater and you got issues, okay? So I just declined. I'm good, right? Now I'm on the second level of annoyance with her though, because it's like, now you're trying to play with me. Like, at this point, if you don't want to serve me alcohol, don't serve me alcohol, but don't keep flip-flopping and don't ask me again unless you're going to actually do it. Mind you, I'm still being courteous. I'm still being polite. I'm not getting smart. I'm not rolling my eyes, but these are all things that are running through my mind. Now, mind you, her nephew, Zach, who invited us, has peeped her behavior. My friends have peeped her behavior, and we're all just kind of like watching her, like, what's really up with you? You know, like, I didn't say anything to disrespect her. I've literally been complimenting her and thanking her since I walked into her house. So what's really your problem, ma'am, right? So cool. You know, everyone starts coming in, everyone's eating, blah, blah, blah. At this point, her friends start coming in. She done bust out the mixers, the chasers, the alcohol. She just doing it up, right? So she comes back out there and she goes, you know what? You know what, honey? You can have a drink. You want to drink what you want. So I'm like, all right, maybe she's for real this time. Maybe she felt bad. Excuse me. So I'm like, okay, I'd like a rum and pineapple. Or maybe at this point, I just said a wine cooler because I just wanted something quick and I didn't really want to deal with her. So let's say I said a wine cooler, right? And so she literally looks at me again, gets this whole attitude. She's just like, I just don't believe that you're of age. Go get your ID. Go get, and it was almost like her moods were fluctuating. Like, you came back to me because I thought you felt bad. You called me honey. You offered me a drink again. And then you sat there and got mad again and got smart again. Like, it's giving issues, okay? So I'm just like, lady, like, all right, just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like, you done play with me back and forth. You clearly have some type of issue with me, not me drinking, but with me. And I haven't done anything to you to make you feel this way. My friends are on like their third beer. I'm just not pressed. Like, I'm literally not at a restaurant. At this point, you might as well charge me for the drink because you're literally acting like you work somewhere and like, I don't know, like, it was just not giving backyard cookout vibes, right? So cool. I'm just like, oh no, thank you. Like, I'm just good. Like, I'm not gonna go get my ID. I'm just good. Like, I'm good. Give me some water. Okay. So cool. We end up like wrapping up the cookout portion. They had gotten him a cake. They had gotten Zach a cake or whatever. And we go into the house to kind of like, I guess, give him some celebratory words, cut the cake. Everyone says whatever they have to say, congratulate him, whatever. So before everyone really started moving in, I had went in, I guess, to kind of like get a breath of fresh air, you know, step away from her and stuff. So I had went in, and the uncle was in it was like a study, like a library desk study type of area. And he's in there, about to attempt to start cutting the cake. So he's like, oh, hey, like, how are you? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. So I go in there and talk to him. Mind you, you guys, like, I can be a pretty, like, friendly person. So it's not weird for people to, like, pick up on that energy and start talking to me. And that turns into a whole full-blown conversation and whatever, right? So I'm in there talking to the uncle. I think we got on the subject of, like, what industry I'm in as far as career-wise. And he ended up saying, like, oh, I have this business, blah, blah, blah. So he gave me his business card. We're in there just chatting it up. Simple, cool. Then for whatever reason, he couldn't cut the cake. I don't know whether like he didn't know how to, or whether he had like something physically preventing him from doing so. Like, I can't remember, but whatever it was, he had asked me to go ahead and cut the cake. And he's like, they need it cut evenly because everyone like wants a slice. And it wasn't a huge cake, but it was a lot of people there. So I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Like, I know how to cut a cake. So he goes to get a knife or whatever, and I'm just in there cutting the cake. Now, mind you, by this time, the whole family has moved in, all the friends, all of my friends, whatever, right? So here comes Auntie as well. So I peep her like with her energy moving in, right? But I just tried to like not feed into it. I didn't look her way. I just kept doing me, cutting the cake, whatever. Kept my happy smile, kept my presence and my energy good. Everyone's liking me, you know, everyone's enjoying me except for her. We say like the congratulations and well wishes, whatever. Everybody gets their cake. At this point, I kind of signaled to my friend, like, I'm ready to go, because, you know, I done ate good, I done got my cake, I done mingled, you know, we told him congrats, whatever. I'm ready to get out of this weird ass environment. So he's like, yeah, he's ready to go too. Everyone like pretty much starts moving towards the door. So I go back in to like the family room, and me being super polite as normal, and I'm like, thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time. Your home was beautiful. The food was great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying this to Auntie. Mind you, the boys didn't come with me. I'm the only one saying thank you, right? And she looks up and says, you're welcome. These drinks sure were good. I wish you could have had one of these drinks. And just gives me like this really snotty, B-wordy, just nasty, like fake laugh. And a few of her girlfriends were like laughing as well. Now, mind you, these women were, I don't think anyone there was younger than 40. So these women range from like 40 to 70. Catty, nasty, haters. And Lord, I pray that I do not make it to that age being catty, nasty, and a hater to anyone, but especially not someone half my age. I mean, imagine old women being nasty to a 20-year-old. Like, what are you getting out of that? It was just so weird to me. And she was hype. Like, she was so like, I did that. I didn't give that girl no drinks. I made drinks and she wished she could have had. Like, girl, you're whack as hell. Whack. And it says a lot more about you and how you feel in your own skin at the age of 50 something. And I could tell she just wanted me to feed into it so bad, but of course I didn't. But it was just like, ew, girl. That's the perfect word. Ew. So, you know, I kept it moving towards the door. She ended up walking to the door, hugging the boys, kissing the boys, thanking them so much for coming. Mind you, they ain't never give her a thank you, ain't never give her a compliment. They pretty much ate and was ready to leave when I was ready. Hugging them, telling them thanks for coming, wishing them well, blah, blah, blah. Me, I ain't getting nothing but the boot out the door after I literally was so polite and dealing with all of her shenanigans. So the moral of the story is haters come in all ages, forms, and sizes. And young ladies, please don't ever fall victim to haters, okay? Older women can be haters too. Aunties can be haters too. You know those older women in your office that like to create drama? You know those older women in church that are so sanctified, but they like to create drama? Yeah. Don't fall victim to it, you guys. Definitely some weird people out here, and don't let their energy get you down, okay? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.